Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Heidiy DIY knitting podcast where me, Heidiy, does some DIY, mostly knitting. It is so good to be back. It sounds like it was a long time ago, but it actually wasn't. But I have done many things, and today we are just gonna see what I have been doing. And yeah, let's dive straight into knitting. I have quite a many new whips and not so much progress on the old whips. I have been feeling this summer whip kick at the moment, and I just don't feel like knitting so much heavy wool stuff, which is kind of normal, I think. It has been quite warm with some colder days in between, but I'm just happy to knit summer stuff. And yeah, I will go get my coffee, and after that, let's dive in. Now it's better with the coffee. These beautiful cups are actually from are they from Lithuania or Latvia? I have no idea. But yeah, I got them as a souvenir from my parents many years ago. But they are huge, and that's why I like them. And I have decaf coffee with oat milk. And it is actually delicious. And I drink decaf because of the health stuff. I have horrible migraines, so somehow the caffeine makes them worse. Now we can dive into my finished objects. Oh yeah. Let's start with the first one. And it is this Levitate wrap. And I am so excited about this. It is kind of sad that now it's so warm already, because it gets kind of warm with this. But here it is finished and blocked and gorgeous. I really do love the sleeves. I think the cuffs are just beautiful and minimalistic. And yeah, I love how light this is as well. Somehow, or sometimes the like warmer knits get quite heavy when they are thicker fabric, but this is actually very nice and lightweight because of the unspun yarn. It is so lovely, and I love all these beautiful details and endless hours of double knitting. It actually took quite a while. The body itself was quite quick, but the double knitting took a moment for me, because you start like here and then you go all the way around and then back down, and then you do all the bottom edge there, and then the ties as well. Here is a video of me wearing this piece, and what can I say? I love it, and I think it's gonna be very functional and very much loved piece of my wardrobe. I did one modification, and it was due to the fact that I noticed a minor, it's not mistake, maybe inconvenience while wearing this piece. And it is, let me show you. I made a little crochet tie on the inside of the other side of the garment, because there actually was nothing to hold this piece in. So when I was wearing it started to creep up, and then it was visible flapping here in the, what is it called? In the neck opening, then it was flapping there. So, because usually when I have like wrap sweaters or skirts or something, they have something to hold the other piece down. And that is what I did. You could have used I-cord, but I thought that crochet was quicker and I was feeling lazy, so I made a small crochet ties on the inside. So now you can tie them down and it will hold the piece beautifully. Let's put the bow, and now it holds itself inside. I'm actually surprised how pretty this brown is, and I used to not like brown, but now I'm actually kind of into it. And ever since I dived into, today's word is dive, if you haven't noticed, but yeah, ever since I dived to color analysis, I have realized that maybe this kind of dark brown, this is more like espresso, that is very dark brown, suits me better than black. But yeah, I love it, and I think it's gonna be so functional. And for the last time, to yarn details, I bought second-hand unspun yarn, that is Finnish wool, and it is this deep brown color, and I have no meterage or brand or anything, it was just unspun Finnish wool. And I combined it with Trio, Isager Trio 1, which is the thin one, and it was the color chestnut that I actually got secondhand from my friend. And it creates this beautiful, very ever so slightly marled look to it. And I am in love. It is very soft, smells a bit sheepy, but not too much. I'm not a fan of the feeling when you sweat and then you start smelling the sheep. I don't like to smell like sheep. I have one sweater that does this, but I'm pretty sure this won't. And this is so airy that it is not so sweaty. So this was Levitate wrap by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and it is part of the Isager Breeze collection. And I'm pretty sure this is one of the patterns that I'm gonna do many times. I'm not a pattern repeater. I am an outfit repeater. I have the same outfit as yesterday, but I don't knit patterns many times usually because I get bored. I have ADHD. Boredom is my nature, but this might be it. It was very enjoyable. Where do I put these? To the floor? I'm gonna pick them up, I promise. Maybe later, but I will do it. Have some coffee or tea or drink of your choice. And it would be wonderful if you told me in the comments what you are knitting while you are watching this video. Did you do it yet? I'm waiting. Thank you. Next one is the Y top that I have been talking about for ages, but it took me for ages to do this because I love the idea of words. I love the idea of it, but the construction is not my favorite. I will show you. And this is the final result. It is so pretty, so pretty. Can you see the drape? Drape all the way. Oh, it is so soft and beautiful and shiny. And I think the stitch definition is beautiful. It shows the details very well. The yarn is lumoava silkki, which is like mesmerizing silk in English, and it is 50-50% merino and silk. And I bought it from my local yarn store, Anna ja Eila. And the colorway is called suklaa, which means chocolate, and it is gorgeous. It is not like brown, like this one, but it is something between brown, purple and pink, with a lot of gray added to it. I love it. About the construction, it is done bottom up, and then there is a lot of shaping. So usually when I have knitted tops, they are usually like straight tube, maybe some waist shaping, but they are like tube, and then you do the triangles and so on. But no, this has actually quite a lot of shaping here. As you can see, it is not straight tube. There is quite a lot of increases, and this is very hard to show you. Maybe I do this. Yes. This bottom half took me like a couple of days, while this bottom half oh, it took me like months, because it was so boring. I really can't handle doing just rib or just stockinette in the round for a long time, especially when the garment is done bottom up. Somehow it just messes up my brain and it feels like it's not going anywhere. But yeah, after that it was very simple. And something, I have said it again, but something with this 2x2 rib hurts my hands. And I don't know what it is. I still don't know, but I'm glad it's done now. Well, almost. This is quite drapey and it stretches quite a lot. So I'm gonna go in and take maybe this much away from the straps, because they have already stretched quite a lot and it gives me a bit too booblicious look. So I don't want to flash my boobs around. But yeah, I'm happy with it, and I'm actually very, very happy about the color. It is always the shades that are very hard to describe, like this pinkish, brownish, purplish, grayish color. I'm slightly worried because I can already see some fluff with a minor wear, but I'm hoping it will be okay, and it is just the beginning and I can always depil this. yeah, I don't know if you can see, there is starting to be some fluff already around here. The yarn is super soft, so maybe that is unavoidable, and you have to have the thread for either it is soft and it is usually pilling a bit more, or it is a bit more coarse but it doesn't pill or get worn so easily. But yeah, I'm happy with this. It gets to the ground with the Levitate wrap. And those are my finished objects. But my stomach says that it's hungry. I will eat soon. I have 4 active whips that I'm actively knitting, but then I also have a couple that are on hold because I don't feel like knitting these very wintry rustic yarns at the moment. What shall we start with? Maybe a sip of coffee. Let's start with the oldest one, the one that you have already seen. And this is the Minou cardigan from Knitting Deer. And it is quite close to the finish line. I'm knitting the sleeves. And this one is on hold because I wasn't sure how much yarn I have. So I'm playing yarn chicken. And I was thinking that it is better to have like different, if I ran out of yarn and they don't have the same dyelet, then it's better to have like similar color cuffs that are slightly different than this one, and the button band in the same, quite just slightly different color. Then that is I will have like other cuff that is different, or have a button band that is different color. So I'm trying to be tactical with this, and I'm trying to be smart. These are almost the same length, and there is like this much left to the other sleeve, but I will maybe knit half a repeat, and after that it is time for the cuffs. But I will need to go and get more yarn. I am pretty sure that this is not enough. I will show you. So this is all I have left. And I will run out of mohair, I'm pretty sure. I asked the other test knitters, oh yeah, I am test knitting this one, and the deadline is in a couple of weeks. I asked the other test knitters that how much they used yarn for the button band, and it was around 30 to 40 grams, and I'm pretty sure that after the sleeves I don't have enough of this one either, so I will go to Anna ja Eila and buy one of each. So then I will have enough, and I don't have to play yarn chicken anymore. And if I have leftovers, then I will just put them into my some lovely scrap yarn project and have some pretty neutrals in there. Or I will make a headband or something like that. I'm using Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in the colorway Powder, and Knitting for Olive Merino in the colorway Mushroom Rose. So it creates this softly pink beige color. I adore this entire cardigan pattern, but also this stitch pattern. It is somehow very stimulating for my ADHD brain, and yeah, I love it. And I don't have to purl all the time because I don't fancy it either. And I'm also planning on knitting the other designs from Knitting Dear. She has Minou shawl and scarf, and she's also designing the Minou top. So if I'm not full of this stitch pattern, which I doubt because I'm actually really enjoying this, then I will probably make those. Yeah, but this is quite close to the end. So just a few centimeters of the sleeves, and then the cuffs and button band. And I have to pick the buttons. No, I have not thought about it. Tell me, please, help me decide what kind of buttons would you put with this kind of pattern, because I don't want to have it like not too contrasty, but I don't want them to take all the attention from this beautiful structure and cables and so on. I will show you how it sits at the moment. So it is like this at the moment. Yeah, I may need to do an entire pattern repeat, which means I really do need to go and get the yarn. But yeah, it will be so pretty. Look! I'm so happy. I want this done now. It is pretty. I usually don't enjoy knitting cardigans, but now I have done 3 cardigans in a row and all of them have been quite enjoyable. So maybe I am a cardigan girly in the end. We'll see. But this one goes to the floor with all the other stuff. Next up is this pretty thing. To all of you who love textured knits, this is it. Can you see it? It is so nice. And this is the Juno top by Vert knit, and this will be a beautiful off-shoulder design, and I am test knitting this one as well. I have been on a test knit roll lately, and what can I say? I love it. Ines has she has a talent for visualizing the shapes and shaping garments to fit very beautifully. For example, there is these darts that are shaped with short rows, and it makes the bust fit beautifully, which is kind of necessary when you are doing this fitted garment that has off the shoulder sleeves, because if this bust doesn't fit, it's gonna fall off or have this weird crinkling in here. Oh, the sun is shining and I have this weird under lightning now. Oh well. But yeah, I have done the body and the shaping for my boobies, and next up I have to just knit a few centimeters and then I will start the sleeves. If I have knitted the upper body to the armpits, I will show you the fit check, but if not, then I won't, because I won't have it. But yeah, this will be pretty, and I love the texture with the braided stitch and twisted rib. I'm using Isager Merilin. That is actually kind of old stash, and it has, I'm pretty sure it's wool and linen. So there is these white bits that are linen, and there is also some very long bits of linen, like in here. I can just pull it off. But yeah, it is pretty, and I think it's gonna be looking gorgeous. And this is making me think that I might want to do a tube top or like a strapless top with this same pattern, because I have summer yarns and that would be cool. Yeah, I'm loving it, and it is so squishy. Squish, squish. This color is this almost lilac-y gray. It is interesting because it's not gray. It's definitely not purple, but it's something between gray and purple. I love it. But yeah, it's going strong, and soon I can start the sleeves and then it will come all together. This is also done bottom up. Yes, words. Bottom up, but this is not boring because of the twisted stitch detail. And then there is this one. So I did a poll on Instagram. Go check my Instagram out if you haven't already seen it. And I asked what summer design I should knit up next, because I had 4 on my list, and those are the Cumulus Tee, pea camisole, something that I'm already forgetting, pebble top, and then this one. This is the twist loop top by Otherloops, and this was a winner I think it got 40% of the votes. So I started this one, and this is how long I have gotten. I love it. I actually did it all the way here, and then I realized I forgot to do the increases to the armholes, so I needed to rip that back. The front is almost done, and then I will need to go back to the provisional cast-ons and start with the back panel. This has been actually very quick and enjoyable to knit, and part of it's probably this 3x2 rib, and also the twists, because something happens almost all the time. And part of it must be this yarn. I actually really do love cotton merino, and I know it is controversial because some people don't see the point in combining wool and cotton, but I actually do love it because you get the best of both worlds. It is soft and it has some memory, so it won't widen like the cotton ones usually do, but it's also not so harsh than just pure cotton. It has softness, but it's also not pure wool, and it has some of the properties of the cotton as well, and it is very pleasing to the hands. This one is Hiertegarn's cotton merino, or merino cotton, I don't remember which way, and I bought this second hand from one of the members of our knitting group, and I actually think I bought 10 of these, and I'm planning on doing also the cumulus tea with this one, because there will be plenty left over, since I'm only on the first skein or first ball, and I'm already at the armpits, and there is this much left, so it will be around 3 balls, I think, or maybe slightly more. I'm using 3mm needles if you're interested. I'm usually not that interested about what needles you are using, other than I know if it's like very thin or very thick needles, because it is always so subjective what needles you are gonna use. But yeah, 3mm, and this time wooden needles. I usually don't use wooden ones, but this was the day for that. It looks slightly off right now because it is rib and it is going shrinking, but it will be pretty. Oh yes, and I actually did a thing with this, because the pattern says that you should pick a size that has 7 to 15 centimeters of negative ease, and when I look at the picture of her wearing hers, I don't think it looks like she has negative ease at all. It looks like it has positive ease. So I actually picked up a size that is one size larger than I should have picked based on my measurements. So this is a slightly larger version of that. But yeah, it will be gorgeous. Just now it looks like a weird bikini. And the last project I have on my needles, if we don't count the couple of things I already have there, we don't, because I make the rules. This is my podcast. It is the sock. It is not very much of a sock, but it is a sock. I'm using Regia tweed, and I'm holding it with Isager alpaca 1. And I'm making socks for my husband. I originally planned that I will do this for myself, because alpaca 1 and Regia tweed, they are not cheap, but this started to be a bit too big for me, and I didn't want to start again, so this will be for my husband. He has wool socks, but somehow he always loses them, so I don't think it is a bad thing to have more of them. But this is like lingering whip. It doesn't have to be ready tomorrow or anytime soon. I will just knit it when I have, I was gonna say when I have time, or when I have nothing else to knit, but I always do. So I probably will knit this when I feel like my brain is fried and I need something easy. But yeah, I like the combination of these two, and it creates this very subtle fluff, which I love. And I get to use up the yarn that is lingering in my stash, because this is not very flattering color for me. It just makes me look a bit sickly. So I can use it for socks. And this is an exciting day because I have a crochet project, which I usually don't have. That is very interesting. I can say that it is in very, very beginning stages of a whip, and it is very crinkly because I am not a crocheter, but I will make this work. I am determined. But yeah, I have these little sunburst sunflower squares, and I am thinking of combining these and making them into a project bag. Just something a little different for my knitting brain to have something to crochet. I think it will be nice. They just need a little steam block or something so they will not crinkle up like this. But it was fun to do this. It doesn't take that long. It just might need a bit of time when I combine these two. Or these, all of these I need. Because I'm not a fan of that. But maybe I will. Maybe I will work it out. And this is actually a special project. It holds a dear place in my heart because I am using a yarn that we found in my grandma's storage room after she passed away. I'm pretty sure this is not actually meant for knitting or crochet. It is used to do this like wall decoration kind of stuff. Here is a word for that. But I will use it for whatever I want because it is mine now. And I'm thinking I will make a lovely bag out of it so I can carry my grandma wherever I go. She was very dear to me and she was the one who taught me how to knit and crochet and so on. So this will be for her memory. And I decided to go with the project bag because the colors are not like the colors that are my favorite to wear necessarily. They are beautiful, but they are not the right colors for me. And the yarn is quite coarse, so I don't want to wear it on my body. But for a project bag, it will be perfect. And I probably will make a lining so the stuff doesn't fall out. But yeah, it will be a sunflower bag for my very sunny grandma, who I miss very, very much. So that was all my whips and FOs. Would you like to knit with me for a second or a minute? Let's do it. So, how are you today? Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm still on medical leave. It is actually prolonged to the end of June, so lots of time to knit and think about my life decisions. But it's okay, you don't have to worry about me. I'm doing fine, and I'm starting to see some very early stages of recovery because I'm starting to get ideas. I am that kind of person that I'm usually very creative, and when that creativity starts to decrease or goes away completely, it usually means I'm starting to get burned out. And now I'm starting to have some ideas come out of my head, but I just don't have the energy to do all of them. I have plenty of ideas for this YouTube as well, but please be patient with me. I haven't had the energy to film or edit for a couple of weeks now. But here we are, and I'm actually excited to do things again, which feels good. We have been having lovely sunny weather, but it has also led to me burning, and I'm not happy about that. I'm all about protecting myself from the sun, but then I just burned my chest, and that was stupid and annoying, but I'm already over that. It was just one-time thing. We are okay. And I have been seeing quite a lot of friends lately, which has been very nice, but also kind of tiring. I am an introvert at heart, and that's why I like to talk to camera, and then I can take in the responses when it's good time for me. So like internet friends, please let me know if you're listening to me over there, so I know that someone is over there. So I'm not just all alone talking to camera. I've been trying to focus on the things I am knitting at the moment, but I am just having an urge to cast on new things, like a lot. And I can feel myself wanting the quick dopamine rush from casting on and like dreaming about new things and casting on and starting, and then it just flops and I'm not very interested in it again. So I feel like I need to be extra mindful at the moment, but also I am working with the yarn I have. One of the reasons is I am on medical leave, so the income isn't that high, so I don't have the money to buy new yarn at the moment. But it also means I have time and I can play with the yarn I already have. And if I start and stop and frog it, it doesn't really matter that much. And I just don't want to end up with stuff I don't wear. So I am trying to be very mindful of the things I cast on, but it's quite hard because I'm feeling that I want to cast on new stuff. And I'm not that interested about the old stuff I have. But that is the beauty of knitting. I can always frog and start again. And if they are things I truly want, I can trust that I will get them done eventually and actually want to knit them. Maybe. So it's funny that it feels weird to talk about it feels weird to talk about my life without talking about work. And yeah, I have been knitting, I have been going to the gym, taking care of myself, going on walks on nature, and I'm looking at a major pile of stuff that is going to a thrift store, or I am selling them at the thrift store, so second-hand selling. So I cleaned my closets, and yeah. And then I have seen friends, not French. I don't know what is this sh sound that comes from my mouth at times. Yeah, life has been good, but life has been good. I have also had a lot of doctor's visits, and I've been in the X-ray and so on. I have all these back and neck problems that are not due to knitting, but yeah, that is my life right now. And thank you for all the empathy and kind words on the last video when I told you about my burnout, and I'm happy that you are here knitting with me. If you'd like, please subscribe so we can talk again and be knitting buddies. And remember to like the video and leave a comment if there is something you want to say. It helps me out a lot. Thank you so much for knitting with me, and we will see you next time. Bye!